Hello, everyone, and this is the session on how to become a more effective listener. I would like to welcome you today for this training session. Couple of you know me, and some of you who don't know me, I'm going to give you a small introduction about myself. Hi, my name is Dr. Rachana. I'm a counseling psychologist with 11 years of experience. I'm a certified happiness coach and I'm excited to do this workshop with all of you. To know more about me, you can also visit www.rachanaawatramani.com. If you want, I can share my website with you after this session, and you can visit and know about my work. But today, it's all about you, and today, it's all about how to become a more effective listener. So, before we go ahead and I share my secrets with you of 11 years of being a psychologist, listening has been a very, very important skill. I know why listening is important. Do you know why listening skills are important? Take a take few seconds and think about it. Why listening is so important. Do you remember, one time in your life where you just were not listening to somebody and that person was like, at least let me complete. I am going to answer your question. And you just interrupted that person. You know what happened in that moment when the person was talking and you just interrupted? Do you know what happened? You could not build rapport with that person. So, not only as a therapist, but I feel as an individual who's interacting with another human being, should know how to be a good listener because that helps you in building rapport, it helps you in building trust, it helps you in creating a good relationship, whether it's your client, whether it's your patient, whether it's your family member or your spouse as well, even for your children. Do you know it is so important to just listen and be a good listener? And today I'm going to share a couple of these skills with you, which I have worked upon. Also, let's do a quick self assessment before I get into teaching you how to be an effective listener. Let's see, where do you stand? Right now, you are listening to me and looking at this presentation. I want to tell you that when we take information in our mind, we take information through our five senses. That is our ears, eyes, nose, taste, and touch, right? So at this point of time, you're using one of the most important sense, and that is auditory sense, where you are listening to me. And I want to know if you can evaluate yourself and tell me if you're 100% here with me. Okay, so are you able to listen to me 100%? That means, are you aware of what is happening with your body? Are you aware how is the touch of the chair you're sitting in? Okay, are you aware of what is the sensation of the clothes on your body? Are you aware of what kind of taste is there in your mouth? Are you aware what kind of smell is there around you? Are you aware of what are you seeing? Can you write this down quickly? Pick up that pen paper that you have with you. And I know you're making notes of this session. So just grab that and write it down about all these five senses. What is it that you can see? What is it that you are listening? Are you listening to me? Are you listening this? I am listening to Rachna. Are you listening? Okay. And what is it that you can see? What is the smell around you? What is the touch that your body sensation can feel? And what is it that you can taste in your mouth? All of these five senses. Okay. Once you make a note of it, you're bringing yourself back to the present moment. It tells you, are you aware? And tell me how many of these five senses you were actually aware when before this activity started. Were you were only using one, auditory. But then, just for being a good listener, you don't only have to use one sense effectively. You need to be aware of all your senses. That brings you back to the present moment. And when you are in the present moment, you'll be more effective, you'll be more active, you'll be more productive, and it will help you to become a good listener. Okay, our focus is only on listening today, I know that. But the other four senses also matter. It is extremely important for us to know, where do you stand? Are you aware of what is happening? Okay, so I am sure you all have done this by now. You all have made this note of what is happening with you. You can use this every time before you go for an important meeting. Evaluate yourself. Okay, evaluate all your five senses. What is it that is happening? I'm not even aware what my brain is taking all this information. I'm not even aware what is going inside my mind, right? So right now you know what is going inside, and the most active one is auditory, because you're listening to me. And we need to know, what are the competencies for effective listening? Do you know what are the competencies for effective listening? Do you know that? Make these quick notes. I want to know if you know it. Of course I'm going to share that with you. A proficient listener should be able to comprehend the information being conveyed. That is, they can identify the main ideas and supporting ideas. So, these are two important things that you need to know. To be a good listener, you need to know what is the information being conveyed. Okay. And can you identify what is the main idea? What is the main topic of that person talking to you? And what is the supporting detail? Like, for example, right now, the main focus, the main idea of me talking to you is teaching you amazing skills and how to become a good and more effective listener, right? That is my main idea. And the supporting details that I'm giving you is how to use the other senses, how to be aware of yourself, how to be more productive when you're being a good listener, right? So you need to get this. You need to understand this, what is the main idea and what are the supporting details, okay, when somebody's talking. Let me give you an example here. Do you remember this time when the other person is talking to you, and you are wondering, what am I going to talk? What am I going to say? How am I going to respond? Should I say this? Should I say that? You are not there 100%. You're not there. Go back to your evaluation and bring yourself back to those five senses. What is it that you are taking in? You are just lost in your thoughts. You're not aware of your five senses. You're not aware of what information is coming to you. You're just in yourself. That means you're not giving attention to the other person. You're not paying attention on what is the main idea and what is the supporting detail of this conversation. If you don't know that, how are you going to respond? And let me tell you a trick over here. The moment you pay attention to your five senses, you pay attention to that person and paying attention on what information is coming to you, you will know what to respond. You don't have to think in your mind, oh, what am I going to say? What is this person thinking about me? We don't have to focus there. It's beyond my control. Okay? In my control is to be there 100%. I want to be there. I want to know what's the main idea. So every time your brain takes you to, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? You're going to come back to saying, what is the main idea? What is the supporting detail? What is the main idea of this conversation? Think of this. Okay? And the other most important uh, quality, an effective listener should also be able to analyze the information, make inferences and judgments. You need to know how to make these judgments, and I'm going to teach you that. Okay, I am going to teach you that, just the way I taught you how to come out of this major question. And I did get these questions when you filled up the form and you all were communicating with me through this registration form. I could see a lot of you have mentioned this, that I keep thinking what to say. And now, when you've broken that, now you're going to be able to take the information, make your own judgments, and make that respond. Just remember this, evaluating myself before any conversation will bring you there. Okay, this is a very, very important takeaway. I hope you've made notes of this. Now you know what are the best qualities that you need to have to become a good listener, to become an effective listener. There are two types of listeners. Okay, there are two types of listening we all do: active and passive. Okay, I'm going to talk in detail about what is active and what is passive listening. Okay, again, I'm going to use an example over here and tell you that once upon a time, this is my own example I'm going to share with you, is I was just in one of the lectures of, counseling sessions in one of my college days. Example, I was in the class and I was just, busy sketching on my book and not listening. Actually, not listening, just there in the class. I was just attending, and my teacher asked me a question. I was not able to answer. You know why? Because I was just busy in my own thoughts. I was not even being passive listener. I was an activist far, far away. I was not even being a passive listener at that time. So what happened at that time? It was very embarrassing, and I was a student. So it's okay. Teacher yelled at me and told me to pay attention and get back to the class and be more active in the class. And it was embarrassing for me, right? And that day I decided I'm going to be a very good listener. I'm going to be an active listener. Forget about passive. I'm going to be an active listener. And I worked on those skills. And it's been 11 years since then. I have been using my listening skills with all my clients, with all my corporate clients, individual clients, and a lot of these training sessions which have helped students to become more effective listeners. And I'm sure something like this would have happened with you. Just imagine if you are busy thinking about what am I going to say? What am I going to say in front of your client? And a client asks you a question. What will you do? Will you not be able to answer that question? No, you cannot answer that question because you were just paying attention on what am I going to say? What am I going to say? You were also not being passive. Forget about being active listener. So let's get to this and let's understand what is active listening. It involves displaying verbal and non-verbal signs and responses to show the speaker the listener is engaged in the discussion. That means if somebody is talking to me and I'm just quiet, I'm just not saying anything, okay, what will that happen? Like right now, I don't know if you're an active listener or a passive listener to this video. Are you there? Hello. So this is what I'm feeling. I don't know. I'm the speaker and I don't know if you're listening to me or no, because I'm not getting any verbal or non-verbal signs from you. But when you're having a live conversation with somebody, if you do ha, your body language is, tilted a little bit towards the person you are listening. You're nodding your head, you are saying yes, yeah, hmm, all of these things. I understand, I get you. These are some signs, verbal signs, that you can give somebody. Non-verbal signs are, of course, as I said, a little bit of tilt, nodding your head, and saying, like, non-verbal way of saying that yes, you're listening. These are few things that you can actually do so that the other person knows you're listening. And you know what? It also makes you aware. You know what is happening to you. Are you aware what is happening to you right now when you're listening to me? Are you doing yes, making notes of what I'm saying? That means you are actively listening. Making notes is also a very good sign. However, sometimes the person who's talking might feel, oh, you're not listening to me, you're just interested in making notes. Okay, so it becomes very difficult for that person to actually trust you when you're making notes when the person is talking, especially like in a counseling session when my client is talking. Now I'm used to it of making just, like one word, two word, three words, and then, making those notes after the session. During the session, I avoid making notes because I want to give my 100% to my client. I want them to know I'm here for them. If somebody's speaking and you tell the person I'm here for you, just imagine how amazing you feel. And you be in the place of the speaker, and I'm giving you full attention, and I say, yes, I understand, I get you, I know what you're saying, I'm nodding my head, I'm saying yes, 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 yeah. You will know that I'm with you, I'm giving you attention. That is active listening, right? So using verbal and non-verbal signs is the way of showing that you are listening to the speaker. Okay, it also involves displaying verbal and non-verbal signs and responses to show the speaker the listener is engaged in the discussion. Active means active engagement with the person. Okay, so two things to take away to be an active listener is having verbal and non-verbal signs all the time. And trust me, it will also help you to be there. Be present over there with the person and be aware and not go back to your thinking. What am I going to say? What am I going to say? We have to come back from that. We have to come back. We have to come back. Yes, I'm here with you. Active listening entails giving full attention to and focus on the speaker and comprehending the information the speaker is sharing. Whatever the speaker is sharing, I am comprehending. That means I'm understanding. What are you saying? मुझे समझ आ रहा है आप क्या बोल रहे हो, right? So you need to understand that, and you cannot understand that if you're lost in your own thoughts. So come back. How do I come back? I come back with my five senses, and the second thing is I give non-verbal and verbal cues that will make me come back and become an active listener to the speaker. Come back right now, wherever you are. Are you listening to me? Are you nodding your head? Are you there with me? Do you know what is happening with your five senses? I'm going to give you 2 seconds to do that. And yes, I know you are with me here, and you're totally being an active listener. Opposite of active listener is passive listening. Passive listening is when the listener is silently participating and shows no response to the speaker. Do you remember the example that I gave you earlier? I told you that I was in the class and I was not paying attention. I was not being a passive listener. I was not doing active listening at all. Okay, I was just not being there. I was mentally absent in the class when my teacher caught me scribbling on my notes, on my notebook, right? So that means what? I was just there, not present. But in passive listening, you are there, you are listening. However, you are not participating. You're listening everything, but you're not responding to the speaker. You're showing no response at all to the speaker. So that means you're just passively listening to the person. And that does not give a good impression. If you don't nod your head, verbal, non-verbal cues agar nahi hai, so your speaker does not feel encouraged to share more, to talk to you more. And that in turn helps you to not build rapport with the person. That person will not trust you. It is a form of one way communication where there is little to no exchange between the listener and the speaker. Okay? So, right now, if you're doing passive listening to me, I want you to come back and do this active listening. Active listening. Okay? And how will I know you're not doing passive listening and doing active listening? You know, how will I know that? If you stay in touch with me, if you go on my Instagram and share and tell them that you did this session, tag me. I would love to know your feedback on my Instagram. Be in touch on Facebook and YouTube. I am going to put a lot of these sessions, a lot of these skills that I have learned in 11 years on my YouTube channel for you to have free access to. Okay, you can also reach me on my WhatsApp. My number is there on the screen. My website is there, as I promised you at the beginning of this session, that there is my website where you can go read more about my work. And also, if you have any questions, you can feel free to, write over there to me and it'll reach to me. You can leave a message on WhatsApp, on any of my social media, and I will reply to you. Okay, I would really love to know what was your takeaway. So I know you were actively listening to me. Okay. So what was your takeaway from this session? And if you know what needs to be done next after this skills workshop, I am training you for an amazing session of being an effective listener, a pro effective listener, which is A paid session, however, it's 50% off for all of you who've attended this session. And I'm going to give that link to you on my WhatsApp. If you reach out to me, you want to register and become a pro listener and share my secret of being a good listener, my secret of addressing more than 1 lakh people that I have, addressed and help them reach their emotional goals. If you want to learn that skill, you want to be an amazing, effective listener, if this has helped you, this is just step one. Trust me. I have a bundle of secrets that I have to share with you, and you can get that access on 50% off. And plus, I am going to give you a link. If you WhatsApp me and follow me on Instagram, I'm going to give you a link where you can get access to my mini therapies for free. Okay, and take a little bit of gist and know how therapy session works. And it's an app, it's free for you. So just go write to me on my Instagram and I will give it to you. Okay, so I hope to see you in my session, in my next session, and my other workshops. And this, as I said, is just step one. The main secret is there in how to become an effective, a more effective, a pro listener, more effective listener, a pro listener. Please go and sign up. It's there on my website, and you can go and directly pick up the course from there or write to me, and I'll send you the link. Okay, it was wonderful. Thank you so much. As I said, if you have any questions, don't forget to get in touch with me. I will surely be there and help you for anything and everything that you need related to counseling, therapy, emotional needs. I will be there for you. So, once again, if you haven't made note, I'm going to say the course of being a more effective listener, part two, a pro listener, is 50% off for you. You get a free access to the app where you can do mini therapy, and you will also get all my secrets and unlimited access to me because you did this training. So just go ahead, write to me, and take all these gifts from me. Thank you so much for attending today.